Hey, what's up traders? This is Dave and welcome to another video. This time we are going to look to the real market algorithm. There is a guy, ICT, you probably know him, we all know him, and he is claiming that he coded the market algorithm, which is quite nonsense, I would say. And he likes to create a drama and is trying to do a secrets around this thing, and this is how is he getting a attention to his live streams where he is trading on the demo. But I do not want to put any hate on him. This guy has made a lot for the trading community, and I believe that a lot of people became successful by using his concept. However, he has overcomplicated a lot of things, and you really need to be selective what to use and do a lot of your own work, which is great because success is not easy and it's not for everyone. Anyway, in this video we are going to look into the real market algorithm, which is probably not coded by the ICT, because if he coded it, he would be at least in the top 5 traders in the Robbins Cup, which he is claiming that he will win since 2016. Alright, so in this tweet you can see that ICT has tweeted CLS is not it. And this is where it gets into my attention to find out what's going on in here. He is probably trying to hide some truth, something he doesn't want you to know. So I was really curious what is going on in here. What is he trying to hide? And I have found out that CLS.net is a company who is making the settlements and the operation for more than 35,000 participants, and that they are trading more than 6.5 trillions volume in a day. So that's something huge. There's something what has to be there. Then I found out that they are actually trading for the biggest banks like a Barclays, Nomura, BNP Paribas, Citibank, you name it, ING, and also the central banks. So they are basically trading for the all biggest players, and they are collecting the orders on the book, and then they deliver the rest into the markets, right? So there is something what was ICT trying to say in his videos by the predicting the time and these things, right? And I will show you later in this video what exactly it is. But before we dive deep into it, we need to understand why such a company would be ever existing, right? So you need to know who is the market participants, right? There is a hedge fund, multinational companies, retail traders like us, we are trying to make profit, pension funds, central banks, and there is a CLS company. But why? As you can see here, I'm just highlighting for you, and you can go to the Google and you will find out much more. Every big bank has been fined for the fraud in the trading, for the markets manipulation, and for the trading block. You can see that these fines are in the billions, but it's still such a profitable business to manipulate the markets that these billions are nothing in compare what they make, right? So right now, why CLS? As I told you before, they actually getting these orders from these market manipulators, and then they trade it into the market. So right now are these dark players covered, and all this 6 trillion volume is operated by the CLS market operator, which could be this ICT Algo, which he claims that he traded. But okay, right now you might asking how this information can help me. How is it useful for me? It's just a discussion and all this drama around an ICT. Okay, so let's look at it this way. We know that they are trading 6 trillion in the daily volume. If they're trading such a volume, they probably cannot click just a buy and sell as we do it on our platform, right? And they also need a liquidity and time to create and accumulate such orders for the next market move, right? And for that, they need to follow a specific protocol. As you probably know, it would be accumulation, manipulation, distribution. But why? Why they need to do this manipulation? Because they need to create a cluster of the orders where they will be buying for the better price. Because as I told you, if they just click a buy, without doing this manipulation and accumulation. They will simply move the market and they would not be able to fill the large amount of all the contracts which they want to put into the market. Because then we can find a useful patterns which we can follow for the profitability. If such entity is not there, the market would be chaos and it would not be even possible to make some money. There is disorder and it's a great, right? So how to use it? So this information is not only useful for the intraday. In here, we can see that all of these 35,000 participants has to follow some schedule when they give to the CLS market operator their orders, and then they do the settlement and pay in, pay out process, and then all these orders are distributed into the markets. So you can see in here the instruction and input matching orders is done from the 8 p.m. to the 6 a.m. Central European time, which is actually exactly the Asian session and central bank dealer range as the ICT presented, right? So it's the exact time when they doing these orders, right? Then we have start of the settlement, which is a 7 a.m. Central European time. This is when they're doing this settlement, and that's when mostly this manipulation of the markets can come, because they are settling, they are filling the orders, and that's actually also, if you maybe know, Judas swing, right? So that's the time. And then at the 10 a.m. Central European time, this is when the Asia Pacific funding is completed and most of the expansion is starting, right? So remember, 10 a.m. Central European time, mostly the low is formed on the Forex. It's very useful information. And then this process is repeated in the New York session again. And if you're interested to know more about this, you can join my trading academy, where I'm completely explaining this in the details. And this is how we can position ourselves with the great risk rewards in the London session for the Forex. As said, this repeats in the New York with a little bit different times, and also we need to adjust into the market structure, market profiles, where we are currently in the markets, but that's not too complicated. Now I want to speak a little bit about a CLS sequence, which I have spotted and I have realized how we can use this information, right? So we are talking about a CLS market operator. This is big one. This is the market makers. This is the smart money. This is the ICT Algo, right? So when you see some big candle moving, right, creating the imbalance, really big one, digging into the liquidity, you can be sure that this CLS operator is currently in the markets and they are doing the operation and they moving it, right? So how you can build your strategy around that, right? So I call these big candles the CLS range, right? When such a big candle occurs, we can be sure that the CLS is creating manipulation, or maybe they are running the accumulated positions into the profit, right? It obviously depends on the market structure, which I will be explaining you in the next video. So if you're not following me yet, you should do it right now. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comment. I'll be happy to answer. So let's continue. So we have a big, huge manipulation candle. In my theory is that the manipulations never happens in one candle. Why? Because if we see such a big candle, it's creating a FOMO, and many traders are following into the shorts, right? They shorting. And then if we see another candle breaking lower, even more traders will be selling, right? And selling is opposite of the buying. So if the retail start to sell the contracts, who can be buying? Big money, right? CLS operator. So they creating this to create that liquidity, which I've been telling you on the beginning, right? And this is how we can enter our model number one and target the 50% of that candle, of that big one. Why is this happening? Because if they created such a big candle with the imbalance, they will have to rebalance, right? And it's not that easy that we can just say a very big candle, you can just enter a counter trend. No. It has to be correctly placed in a market structure, but this 50% equilibrium happens very often. And that is also the model number 2. You probably have seen it on many of my trades on the TradingView, where you can also follow me because I'm posting a lot of trade setups in there. So when the price start to move up into the 50% equilibrium of that huge CLS candle, if we get a pullback into the 61.8 FIB, which ICT called OTE, however, it is basically the golden ratio. So there we can get another trade, right? There we have these possible 2 easy setups, which are repeating very often, and it's very powerful strategy, as you can see on some of my trade examples. All right, guys, so just to summarize that, there is probably some market operators, some algo who is moving the market, right? Because there is some patterns happening and it's repetitive. If there is not such a operator, market would be chaotic and it would be very difficult to trade it. So it's a great information for us. And I just told you what could be benefits, what we should be looking for. And if you want to find out a little bit more, join our Discord community, because this is what we're talking about in there and this is how we are making money. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.